Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, and I am delighted for this conversation to be joined by Wayne Phimister. And welcome back to Gift of Healing TV as well, because Wayne's joined us in the past. Thank you for joining me, Wayne.
Thanks, Sarah. It's good to be back.
Our topic for this conversation is the mind-body connection in chronic pain. And I know that in respect of chronic pain, that is a passion of yours. And a lot of people are affected by pain, many different parts of the body. And I think, so how did it start for you in respect of what made you really interested in the chronic pain aspect? Because as much as you are a doctor, you're also very open to everything that can support and help people out of pain, aren't you?
Yes. Well, I think I was inspired by an acupuncturist that I met over 20 years ago. And he changed his career from being an architect to being an acupuncturist. And it blew my mind that this professional would go and do this. And he was helping me at the time with treatments for fatigue, and I was overworking and as a young doctor, and it just got me intrigued. So I said, well, I've got to learn this because there's something quite special and unknown within the medical field about acupuncture. So I learned a lot about meridians and energy, and I guess that was the starting point from, you know, a work-based interest in pain with patients over and above my regular medical training.
And pain is something that, as I said, affects so many people, isn't it? Because I had it when my jaw was broken by the dentist. Didn't know it was broken for a week, and that was extracting a wisdom tooth. And I ended up with 6 months of pain and sleepless nights. And of course, there are pains that people can cope with, but it's still pain, and it's still there for a long time. But when I think it's in the face, it's bad enough, but it's like the face, it's the head, you know. And for me, I just wanted somebody to break that cycle of spasm, pain, spasm, pain. But you talk about the mind-body connection, because I think when you get the one, if it's been going on for so long, you're almost looking for the next, it's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
And so you almost create it because it becomes so regular. And I can totally sympathize. And you know, sympathy is not necessarily a good thing, but I can understand because pain is and it actually took morphine to break mine. But it broke the cycle. But yeah, I was sent to the pain control clinic, but the doctor put me on morphine to get them to move. So yes, but it is, the mind can create things, can't it?
And I think that's a very subtle point, because one of the commonest things I hear from patients every day is like, oh, well, I was in the garden and that caused my pain, or, you know, I was sitting down and that caused my pain, or whatever it may be, or lying and that caused my pain. But what really is being said is, in the past, I had pain when I did this. And therefore, I'm expecting the pain to come back again. And this is a subconscious conditioned response. And it's so subtle, almost everybody doesn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, and I totally get it. I don't think I actually got it to that extent at the time, because it was part of my wake-up call to my whole life. Seriously, it really was. And as much as I wouldn't want to go through it again, I wouldn't change what I went through for anything, because it did. It made a massive difference to my life. And I think it's also, can we start thinking about things from that there is a positive message that the body is trying to share with us.
Yeah, I love that. And it comes down to the purpose of, or the subject of meaning and purpose in our suffering. And you've highlighted that in your own life. And I think it is. I think it's the soul giving us a nudge to say, hey, wake up. Wake up. There's something not right. You may not know what it is. And often we don't know what it is. But it's like it's time to address this. And I think the more that people can be accepting of the situation, not running away from it, not fighting it, not having grudges or grievances or, just negative thoughts about it, but just say, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
This is happening right now. Okay, I accept it. Okay, no judgment. And that is a stepping stone into this world of mind, body, and mindfulness, and understanding what is really going on. And we need to stay away from judgment of it if we're going to heal.
Yeah, for me, and okay, it's taken a long time. Well, it's taken long enough for an understanding of what's going on. But obviously now the work that I do, because you said he was an architect and did acupuncture, and I worked in retail, I worked in insurance, I ran pubs, and now I'm a complementary therapist. So it's that change, and I wouldn't change any of the experiences I've had, but obviously stepping into what I do now and realizing that my own healing journey, but the body, yes, there is a trauma, there is something that you haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
And it's the body trying to say to you, it is now time to deal with it. But it can't tell you, right, this happened to you when you were whatever age. It's time you dealt with that. So it brings you a condition, pain, whatever it is, something starts to go on within your body. That is that actually, knock, knock, I'm here.
Yes, I've just recently finishing a book called The Great Pain Deception by a gentleman called Stephen Osanich, and it's an international bestseller. And it brought home this subject of Dr. Sarno's work again to me. And I was introduced to this 5 years ago when I got into the concept of mind-body medicine. And you can actually get your pain to go away with thoughts. And that just blew my mind at the time. And I started to see it in some patients and thought, oh my gosh. But reading this book, it was like he highlighted a few of the psychological concepts around our pain, like the ego and how the ego covers up the hidden traumas and neglects and often just normal life events. We don't need to be severely abused to have chronic pain. No, and I love the source that this gentleman was talking about. He himself did it for 27 years. And once he understood what was going on and accepted that pain is a program, it's not a physical entity. He accepted the fact that separation anxiety, and that's what he discussed, separation anxiety, which happens on average at the age of 2 as an average age. Now, it can happen before then, it can happen after that. But, the classic thing is you're 2 years old and your new sister comes along or your new brother comes along, and all of a sudden mom is not spending so much time with you. You're not maybe the golden child all of a sudden. You've got to share 50-50 time or maybe less.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there's something called separation anxiety occurs. And then we get an emotional response, which is deep-seated and negative emotion like anger, rage. And that emotion is kept under the surface. And then life moves on and there's many of these events happen. So we continually be programmed in the brain, in the autonomic nervous system for this unhappy state. Until one glorious day, you maybe get your jaw fractured, when you get a tooth pulled, or you have a car accident, or you just waking up one day from bed, you think, oh, my back's sore, what's happened? And we don't know the cause. See, the cause is not really the event like the car accident. It's actually the program's the cause, based on separation anxiety and based on an autonomic nervous system program. But once we're aware of this, And if we can accept it, and it's a tough one, it really is tough. As you said, you've taken a long time to get to that point. And many people can't. And there's, we could talk about that. But if you can get to that point, then the door is open for your healing. And what I mean is there's a potential that the pain can go away and stay away forever because you've unmasked the ego's hidden secret that you had a separation anxiety and emotions built into your nervous system, built into your body and the different layers of the body. And from that moment on, it's one heck of a trip, as you know, like struggling with it. Maybe you need morphine, maybe you need therapy, maybe you need this or the next thing. And that's fine. We need to do it. But at the end of the day, you've got to know we heal pain by the acknowledgement of the truth underneath the surface. And then eventually, with God's grace, it will go away at a later point in time. And it's not a straightforward journey.
Oh, no, it isn't. And okay, my separation anxiety actually came because I was hospitalized and I was in hospital for 3 months around my first birthday. So that actually occurred. I came out of hospital and my parents could only come and see me for an hour once a week. So it wasn't, so that was worse than a sibling coming along. That was then actually followed by a sibling that came along who died 9 weeks later.
Oh.
So, so the feeling unwanted, unloved, not good enough went way beyond the separation anxiety. And so there are those people who may not have siblings, but then you've just got to think about people that were adopted. The separation anxiety from their birth mother. And it happens so much younger in many of those cases. And then many of them don't have siblings. But so it's not a matter of there's a specific of how this happens. It's being open up to everything that can cause that at any age. And that is just the start. But it's part and parcel of the human experience. And for me, it was, yes, okay, it took something physical in respect of the morphine. But what it had done was given me the gift of, hey, hang on, I haven't got the energy to keep up this people pleasing. Not working a full-time job, running a home. Gratefully, I didn't have children because I don't know whether I could cope with that. And I was studying accounting at the same time. And I was trying to be a people pleaser. And I was exhausted because of the lack of sleep for 6 months. So I had the sleep and the pain thing. But do you know that? But I am so grateful for that because it's something's got to give. Actually, the people pleasing gave, the marriage gave. I did complete the accounting that year, but eventually that gave as well, and I didn't totally go and do beyond that. But it's just, and it's all right. Let's just take my life back, and I think it's when we start to honor that. That can be a part and parcel of people you work with. I'm sure you work in your own unique way with the things that you've learned. And I've worked with people, and when they can connect with and heal that inner child, help that child feel loved and wanted, it makes an amazing difference to their whole being. And you can see the difference in how they hold themselves. And so sound energy is amazing. Mindfulness supports so many different people. There are so many, acupuncture helps because I know I've had to use that in the past for back things, but it is amazing the different techniques. But it is also about being open with the mind, isn't it?
Yeah, so true. So too, you got to be open and curious. I love what Daniel Segal says in UCLA in Los Angeles, and he's got a mnemonic in his book called the Mindful Brain, and it's COAL, as in the stuff in the ground that we put in the fire. COAL. So C is for curiosity, O is for openness, A is for acceptance, and L is for love. Mm-hmm. And these are the core fundamentals of mindfulness. And curiosity, and like, can I get better? What's going on? How can I improve? This type of openness, and then moving on to openness. It's just one of these fundamental things. We must be open, because there's so many things that I don't know, you don't know, that are beyond us, and we haven't come across it yet. And everybody's on this path, from growing knowledge to where they're going. So in a sense, we're all in the same boat, right? And then we tied in the acceptance. We talked about that at the beginning. And then love, self-love, love for others. So fundamental to healing and getting the heart involved. And when the heart's involved, the brain can get involved, and there's a coherent bonding link through the vagus nerve, and also through the electromagnetics of the body, and within the body and outside the body, which is key to balancing up the nervous system, stimulating the parasympathetic, that rest and digest, that rest and repair response, which switches off the fight, flight, fear response, which pain is associated with all the time. So it's, cool is the answer. Certainly part of the answer.
And of course, what you were saying was that separation anxiety, which of course is an aspect of feeling rejected, of feeling that the love you were being given isn't there anymore, or isn't as great as it was, that you're not as important as you thought you were. But we're not taught, for me, we're not taught to love ourselves. And I know, I get it. You cannot explain any of this to a child. You really can't. It isn't that mum and dad don't love you. It is that they have a younger sibling of yours to look after who needs the same care you did. You're a little older now. But yes, but I still want the cuddles and the hugs from mummy and daddy, sort of course they do. But when we can encourage ourselves to love ourselves, there's a beautiful quote, Alice Little, and it's about, and I'm not going to quote this brilliantly, when we're traumatized children, we're seeking that knight in shining armor. What we don't realize is that it will be ourselves as adults. We are the only ones that can heal ourselves. So our openness to what can we do, yes, with support, but what can we do to help ourselves? Somebody sort of I met a few years back, and he kept saying to me, Sarah, you can heal so many people. Yes, but they've got to want to be healed. And I can't heal anybody. I can only support them to heal themselves. I do not believe I can heal anybody but me. But there are those people who, while they are in that pain, they are getting that center of attention, maybe not for the right reasons, and they are scared of letting it go. And the truth is, there's nothing any of us can do to help those people until they are open to how much more rich their lives can be when they help themselves to let it go.
It's a big subject. It's a really big subject. Why would you not want to get better? Everybody wants their pain to go away superficially, but as you said, there's programs there. There's rewards from going to the doctor, from taking a pill, from a surgery, from you know, there's a lot going on, not just the simple surgery, pill, the doctor visit, therapist visit, a lot more going on. And I think you're kind of nailing it on the head, because we all need loved. We all need to be loved, and we all need to love. And if we're not getting it, then it's a kind of a core need. So it's a very good point, very difficult one to talk to patients about. Really difficult.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and trying to get it through to this person who was being really sweet, you know, sort of saying, oh, yeah, Sarah can help you, Sarah can help you. And it was just like, but they aren't ready to be helped. I can't help them unless they are ready to be. And some people will go for those things that they feel deep down can't help them, but it makes it look as if they're trying to help themselves. But if they actually really believed something could help them, they run away from it. And I do find it very sad, but it is also about people having choice.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't choose to stay in pain. Yeah, not now I have got a better understanding. You know, but you know, people are labeled with conditions, and well, I've got this condition, so of course I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I've worked with adults with learning difficulties, so it's not necessarily the pain thing, but they're labeled with a condition. And the things I have got, some of those people, and I'm not separating us, I'm really not, but I've got them to do where their condition says they couldn't do it.
Yeah,
just because you have, and that was just from a fun aspect. That wasn't to do with the therapies. That was just to do with a little bit of shared care that I did. But I think it does go with, be open. You are able to achieve so much more. Just don't listen to be aware of it, but think, actually, don't tell me I can't, because I can.
It's a brilliant subject. You know, even today I had 2 conversations with 2 different patients, and one was we talked about very much what we're talking about today, separation anxiety, and it was like, nope, I've got this because it says it on my x-ray. And I just shut up. I just thought, okay, that's how far we're going to get, you know, at this point. Because certain therapies were working really well and, you know, amazing, wonderful. But there was that inability, that unopenness to curing it, in my opinion. Whereas another patient came in and she was like 50% down the road. She'd done so well and her beliefs had changed, and she hadn't been accepting certain labels and diagnoses as a predictor for her outcome, but she was still stuck. And I challenged her, because I've known this lady for a long time. She's done remarkably well. And I challenged her. I said, look, you know, you got a choice. What do you want to choose? You know, you were created from 2 half cells, a sperm and an egg. You started off as 1 cell and multiplied into 2, 4, 8, 16, and on until you get 30 trillion. And all the decades of life and all the, you know, the miracles of every cell in the body with 1,200 cellular functions or cellular chemical reactions. So like, how does it all work? And then you've got the mind thrown in for good measure. And then you've got, you know, the energy holding it all together. And it's like a complete miracle that any of us are doing anything. So when we understand that that's who we are, like, yes, you can heal. Your body has got the program. It's written in the DNA. It's just we need to align with it. We need to be open. We need to be curious. We need to accept, not judge. And we need to love, you know, love. And I think we need to remind ourselves of the majesty of our bodies and just what it is. And when we do that, I think we have a chance.
And it is about how much do you love yourself? You know, if you're in an abusive relationship, do you love yourself so little that you're prepared to put up with it? But is not pain an abusive relationship?
Yes.
That you're having with yourself?
Yeah.
You know, we teach people how to treat us. Well, it's about time we learnt how to treat us. That love, and saying to the mind, come on, it is okay for me to love me. In fact, it's not okay. It's essential for me to love me, and to say, okay, do you know what? I am capable of so much or more. You've only got to think about the Paralympians and many people who were born with perfect bodies, who have had something happen, whether it's loss of sight, whether it's loss of a limb, whatever. And far from giving up on life, and how many people have been told, you will never walk again? And that is exactly what they are doing. They have not believed it. Go for the bumblebee. It is not meant to fly, but nobody's told it, so it does.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, the truth is, we are so much more capable. And our body is very capable of healing itself. You've only got to hear the stories of different conditions that are so-called beyond being able to be recovered from, and people are still alive 10, 15, 20 years later. It can be done. And it isn't all about drugs. And in fact, in a lot of cases, it is about mindset.
Yeah, so true. Mindset is the key.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, we say mindset, that's one word, but, and when you think about it, you got to set the mind, you know, but set the mind, as Caroline Leafs talks about in her neuroscience research, like every 10 seconds of your life. Every 10 seconds. Almost got a headache thinking about it. But if you can rein in the mind and create that setting of the mind every 10 seconds, and you just deal with it. You know, whatever thought may be coming in, the emotion you may be having, you know, just, okay, I'm feeling the emotion. Fair enough. I've got that thought. I'll change that thought to the next, you know, tomorrow will be a better day. The next moment will be a better moment. And just, I think we need to feel the feelings, you know, when we have these really troublesome, soul-searching feelings. We need to feel it, write about it, feel it, and pass through the ring of fire, as Mel Robbins talks about in her book. I think it's the 5 second rule. Yeah, go through the fire, just like a little circus dog jumping through the hoop of fire, right? So you go through the fire, and then what happens? You get out at the other side, and there's this peace comes. There's this healing occurs. But this is a journey that's not for the weak-hearted. And when we embrace it, we transform it, we heal slowly.
But okay, I think if we do embrace it, then yes, it can be slow, and it can be, oh, is this really doing anything? But it's so much quicker than if we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really is about trusting the ability that you have, the love you have for yourself, and connecting with that, connecting with those younger aspects, supporting them. I'm not condoning anything that may happen to people. I'm not condoning any mistreatment or anything like that. I'm really not. But it is, look, as an adult, if we can at least come to some sort of understanding, we can support our younger self with the love they require. And it does make so much difference. It really does. And we can heal from pain. And sometimes pain may go through other means. But okay, then thinking about, what is this trying to tell me? Because there is always a reason, a root cause for pain. It just may not be medically diagnosable.
Yeah, so true.
So thank you, Wayne. Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add to this conversation before we actually close it?
I think it just comes back to mindset, and I think it comes back to choice. And we need to choose. We need to constantly repeat the choosing, completely review the mindset and just walk forward, walk forward. And I've just seen enough, I've read enough, I know enough, I feel enough, recovered enough times from chronic pain, 3 times, to know that it's possible. And if it's possible, it can be done. So never give up. Winners never quit, and quitters never win.
If you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah,
you will come out the other side.
So true.
Wayne, thank you so much. And I hope that what we've shared in this program will really touch people's lives. Yeah, and if you're one of those people who you're struggling with, what else am I going to lose other than the pain? Try thinking, what am I going to gain when I let go of the pain? Because I know from my own life, I have gained so much. And I'm sure you have too. It makes so much difference in life. So I hope, and please feel free, if you wish to get hold of Wayne, under the video on YouTube, you will find his details whenever you're watching this. You'll find a link to his website. I will make sure that is under there. And at the moment, his information is definitely up on the Gift of Healing TV website on the About Us page. Please do. And if you've got a question, if you've got anything, just contact Wayne, myself, or if there's someone else you know that deals with pain in a different way, then contact them. Ask for the support. None of us, I didn't do it on my own. Wayne didn't. We don't do it on our own. People support us. It is just down to us. So Wayne, thank you so much. On Friday, we've got a today's conversation, Signs You Are Dating a Toxic Woman, with Stefania Pulio. And then on next Wednesday, I am being joined by Leora Leone, and we're going to be talking about past life regression and energy healing. So I hope you'll join us for that. Wayne, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'll be in touch soon. Good night, folks. Good day, folks, I should say. Namaste.